Hi, welcome to Chez Lez Fleur, my podcast that we interview some amazing and terrific women that are doing it in the business world. And if you're an inspiring entrepreneur, or you just like to hear about the trials and tribulations of being self-employed and being a woman in business, we welcome you to the podcast. If this is the
Thank you.
first time you've seen us, welcome.
Yes.
If you're a returning podcast watcher, welcome back. And today we have with us Maureen Tavener. She's a real estate agent extraordinaire with Remax. And she's got a great story to tell, and I always enjoy my time with Maureen, and I know that you will too. So Maureen, welcome.
Mhm.
Good to have you
Thank
with
you.
us.
I've never done this before where I talk about myself, okay?
Okay. Okay, great. Well, we've got a few questions for you. So
Uh-oh.
let's get started.
Uh-oh.
Um, how long have you been in the real estate business? And
Oh,
how has it changed for women since you started?
well. I started in the 70s, and I tell everybody I was in my diapers then.
Yeah, yes, true,
You
true.
know, and women in the business, there was not many. So it's sort of like just starting into a new field altogether. And I come into the office and they say, "Who's that new girl? What's she doing here?" And I worked at an office. Should I say the name of the office? Anyway, at Irwin Sargent and Lowe's, they used to have real estate as well as
Oh,
insurance.
did they? I
Uh-huh.
didn't know that.
Yeah, and oh yes, and it was quite an experience. Of course, there was none of this computer business, and it was totally up to us to do everything. But even going on inspections and things like this, the guys used to open the door for me and and even put up signs for me. Like they don't do that anymore. You got to do your own stuff, and it was quite an experience. But anyway, I was number one in the office the first month I was there, so I showed those guys.
Good for
And
you.
yeah, and I like a wide variety of dealings with different kinds of real estate. Okay, I've always, been like that. Farms, cottages, resorts, houses, all kinds of businesses. But it's been challenging. You really have to do your own thing and don't let those guys do anything over you. And I can remember doing a deal, putting it together, and it was because of me that the deal came together. I said, "You owe me a bottle of brandy," that kind of thing. But oh no, and you always carry lots of stuff in your trunk of your car. And you've got signs, you've got duct tape, you've got hammers and nails and everything else. I remember uh, going over to the States, and they live up the road. What the heck's all this? I said, "Oh, I'm in real estate." But being a woman is definitely different. You have to really, but now it's easy street, all kinds of women in the business. And well, it's not easy, but I mean, it's a whole different ball game. And but I've enjoyed it thoroughly. It's just been fantastic. It's been my life, well, since the 70s, but anyway, yeah, quite an experience. And I had a fantastic husband, which supported everything I did, which really means a lot. Yep. And I don't know how else has changed. Like we used to, uh, you go to show a property. Well, you don't have a lockbox or anything like that. You have to go to the actual company. You have to get the key. You have to sign it out. And then, so if you're looking at 3 or 4 properties, you got to go 3 or 4 offices and get these keys. And then you show the property, and then you have to take them all back and sign yourself out. The same with when we were taking pictures. We had one camera, Polaroid camera in the office for everybody. Sign it in, sign it out. Oh gosh. Yeah, really different. That's for
And
sure.
now everybody has a camera in their phone and
Oh
you can
my
take a picture of
gosh.
anything.
It's unbelievable. And we don't even do our own pictures half the time or measure. Like I measure, I know how to do everything.
Well, and I'm always fascinated when you see like a listing online where they've, maybe it's a farm or a resort and they've done the drone photography and it
Oh,
swoops
yes.
up over and it
Mhm.
hovers and it's like, wow.
Yeah. And then, well, I guess that's the way it's gone now, And I found here's an old agreement of purchase and sale, one page. And now one page, and look at all the carbon copies, 5 carbon copies. So obviously we didn't have a bunch of conditions in it.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And we used to
It's
sign them on, they always say I used to sign them on the trunk of the car. Well, we did.
yeah. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you'd be in
And
the driveway and it would be a go. So of
oh
course.
God. And I remember when I was in the 80s, the company I was with, a different company, in the 80s, I started with I was the only one on the office that had a camcorder. Do you remember the camcorders that you
Yes.
stick the thing in? And I would take that and I use that for advertising because I could video their house. And I would go to show, it was good though when you were taking a guy out to the woods, to show him property, to make sure nothing happens.
Yeah.
So then you go and take the picture and then you come back to the office and you stick it in your TV, in your, because
The VCR. Yeah.
yeah, and then show it.
I wonder how many
Funny.
people are watching this podcast
Oh
that
my
don't know
God.
what a VCR is.
Yeah, right. It's like records.
Or
Sign of
those cameras where you take the picture and it pops out,
Oh yeah,
develops itself. Yeah.
that's what we had at the office. Boy, we
Yeah.
were lucky.
So what led you to take up real estate when there weren't many women selling real estate?
Yeah, well, it wasn't my first profession, but any
Tell us more
any
about your first profession.
oh my God. Well, I used to teach dancing for Arthur Murray's and Fred Astaire. And I started in Ottawa, and we had a lot of the, people from the government that would come and take lessons. And then we went out to Vancouver. I worked out there at Arthur Murray's and went and danced competitions down in Seattle, Washington, all that stuff. And then moved back here to Peterborough and opened my first business, the Mardi Gras Dance Club.
Wow.
And yes, and it went over fantastic. And we taught at different schools as well. And it was great. But I did meet some people and they told me, you'd be great in real estate too. So in the business, you have to do a lot of things yourself. And we trained all our staff. And what we found was a lot of them, as soon as we got them trained and they knew what they were doing, off to the city, Toronto. So we'd lose a lot that way, okay? Because that was the show, the go to the Toronto. But anyway, so that's when my husband said, "Well, why don't you go look into something else?" And so he went and worked somewhere, and I one of the guys, like I say, one of my students, he said, "Marie, you should try real estate." Okay, maybe I will. So that started it. We bought our first house. And the guy spoke to my husband all the time, not to me, as if I wasn't even sitting there. Whoa, that did it. So I had to go into real estate. That's just something I had to do. So that's how I got started into real estate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's neat.
yeah.
That's neat. Do you miss the dance studio?
Oh God, not now. I'm too old. I was young and thin and long hair and looked all right.
Well, I think you look all right now
You got to
too.
be in good
So
shape. Oh God. Yeah, because you're dancing on the floor all the time, and anyway, I loved it. Yeah.
yeah.
Music, sex, and money. That's it. Oh.
So
Um,
you're very active in Women's Business Network,
oh
which
yeah. Mhm.
hasn't always been called Women's Business Network. And I think you have experience with this group when it wasn't called Women's
Mhm.
Business Group. So tell us about that.
Well, I started in 1978 with the Women's Business Network. Well, it was Women's Ad and Sales, and the same as they had the men's and they had the women's, okay? And Yeah, it's quite different. But I wanted to meet other women in business as well as myself. And but it used to be a lot of fun. And I got on the board, did the board thing. And then in 1982, 83, I became president. And I introduced a few things. And one was we used to do the 50-50 draw. And the money from that and everything else went to the the women's Y, and to help them out. And I also started the auctions. We used to have auctions, but in those days, it wasn't the way we do it now online and all that. It was actual auctions, like you bring in a teacup and saucer and things like that. And then we'd have auctioneers auction it off. And of course, I would hold it up, whatever. But we made $1,500, which was fantastic then. And it got them, their fridge and stove and washer and dryer. Like, it's amazing how things have changed. Prices, of course. And but no, a lot of things, we tried out a lot of different things, which was great. And then of course they changed the name. There was a lot of other places. I went out to well, yeah, when I was president, we went out to Calgary, and that was quite an experience. And when I was president, in the men's, it was Bill Paris was the president. So, and Bernie Cahill, all those old guys, we all went up to Toronto, and we took off and went to out west. And that was something. And I brought back an award as well, that we increased our membership. I brought back an award for little old Peterborough and the women's business. The women's hat and sales. Yeah. But the guys knew when we had our meetings because they were all out too. We didn't just stop there. We continued. In those days, we didn't get out much. And of course, I had a 2-year-old, and like a lot of women do, in business. Yeah. But like I say, I had a fantastic husband. Fantastic. Yep.
You also at Women's Business Network have created an award for Member of the Year.
Oh, yes.
Tell us about that?
Oh, and you were the last winner. Yes.
Well,
way to go, Janet.
Thank you. Yeah. But there are a lot of great women ahead of me. So,
and that's it's voted by the members, and they wanted you to win this year, and you did.
Well, and, thank you. But
yep. And
so why did you start that?
I started that. Well, they didn't want to do it. It would cost too much, all the rest of it. So I paid for it. It's my trophy, and I give it. And it's for Member of the Year. And I felt that the members should be the ones to vote on it. And of course, everything's done online now, which we used to do right there in a box in the slot, and only the members get to vote. Okay. So it's quite an honor, really, because it's your peers that are voting for you. And
it is.
It makes me feel good to do that.
And it's nice to have that that recognition for people that maybe aren't, like, I'm not on the board, and maybe they're not on the board, but they're at every meeting, or they're taking somebody under their wing, or they're
helping others. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's and you've stuck with it for years.
I enjoy it. Yes, I enjoy it. Look forward to it all the time. Yeah, because you can always learn something. I want to see what the new ones are doing nowadays, and how naive they are, and anyway, and how to go about things, and financing. There's a lot to it, and you have to be very versatile. You can't just do one thing. You have to be able to sweep the floor and look after the accounting and do your bookwork and everything. That's the way business is.
That's the way. Yeah, you're right. That's the way business is.
Yeah.
What would you say to your 16-year-old self, knowing what you know now?
Life is there for the taking. I have done so many things. Didn't ask me all my other businesses, but anyway, life is there for the taking. If you want to do something, you feel you have a skill that you really enjoy doing, you have to enjoy it, because like I say, you've got to be able to be versatile and jump into other things. It's no, that's it. Just try anything you want to try. Yeah, life is there for the taking. That is my motto.
So you mentioned you had other businesses. What other businesses have you done?
Oh, I sure have. I've always had two businesses on the go, really. You know, well, when I started in real estate, of course, we started buying investment properties. So I owned apartment buildings. So I have my child in a crib in the vacant apartment while I'm out painting the walls and stuff like that. I even took him when I was showing property. And in those days, you could breastfeed in the car and you didn't need a seatbelt. It's not like it is today.
True.
I used to take him in the back of the car. But anyway, no, we owned apartment buildings and then we bought a broiler farm operation, which is chickens. We had 30,000 at a time. You get them about 4 times a year, 4 or 5. And I can remember being up in the attic, shoveling the feed around to get room for 10 tons to come in, and being completely white, going in, having a shower, changing my clothes, going out and selling real estate. Nobody would know any difference. That was a great business, good money. And we had about 4 times a year off. So of course we used to do the last minute club, for traveling. That's
Oh,
the way it
yes,
used to
yes.
be. Yeah, so I knew some of the girls from the sales and ag club. And so I'd get some deals, and because you had to be ready, like we'd have 2 weeks in between each crop. So I would call her and I'd say, okay, we're ready. Where can we go? So we've traveled all over the world too,
Wow.
cruises and so forth. Yeah. And then that wasn't enough. I had to, I wanted to get into the food and bev management. Well, our property, I really wanted to build a hotel, but anyway, that was too much money. We couldn't make a flight. It'd take too long waiting for all the permits, and time is money. So I went back to college while selling real estate. I went back to college and graduated, got my food and bev management degree. And then I saw this restaurant for sale. So I bought the restaurant, and it was just a little farting thing. But anyway, I changed it, and it was the hub. I'd have the millionaires from the lake come in, and then I'd have the trailer trash come in, and the guys from the locks, they would come over all the time for lunch. And the restaurant business was a lot of fun. We could see somebody driving in the driveway and say, oh, here comes a toasted Western on brown with cheese. Oh, here comes a blueberry pie. Like that kind of
You knew your customers.
yeah. But I was always good to my staff. We had parties. I'd give them food to take home, and that's the way you keep them. Be good to your staff always.
Very
Yeah,
true.
if you're in
Very
that
true.
business. And then let me see, from the restaurant, in between that, I'm past president of the Kawartha Lakes Chamber of Commerce, and on tons of boards, everything from the Rotary Trail from Peterborough to Lakefield, to the Shining Waters Railway, to the speed skating oval, to lots of different things. And but then we decided, okay, the free trade thing came in. So of course, with the chicken business, the broiler farm operation, it was sort of lined up with that trade business and getting quotas. So we decided, okay, it's the time to sell. So we sold the quota. And then what are we going to do with a big building, empty, 24,000 square foot building? We built that, of course, too. And so we changed the line to storage units. So I had another business, diamond storage unit. So that, and always paid at least 2 memberships to the Chamber of Commerce, like, with the storage and the real estate, always real estate, always real estate. And did that, and always, like I say, real estate. So and doing all other things, but I've had quite a life. I just love, that's it, try
You,
everything.
yeah, you're right.
You
Try
can't wait.
everything.
Yeah, you don't like
And
it, sell the damn thing, just
exactly, you don't
move
have
on.
to, you don't have to hang on to it forever. You're right.
And being in
Absolutely
real
right.
estate, I see a lot of things come and go, and that kind of thing. And things that you think are making money, they're not. And always investigate the business you're going in. Always check it out. Do your research. In the old days, it was the telephone book, the yellow pages, but always check it out. Go and check out place and say, well, they've got this, but that they haven't got this, or they need this. you know, so, and location's very important, depending on your kind of business,
Right.
parking, all the rest of it, but, yeah.
No, it's very true. Oh, Maureen, you're enjoying such a great life.
Write a book.
I really am thrilled that you've had time to talk to us today because
Oh, gosh. Oh,
it's
I've never
fascinating.
done
And
that before. Yeah.
it's no, we're glad you were here.
Oh, good.
One of the things I like to
Okay.
end our podcasts with is
Sure.
5 questions that need to be answered in
Oh,
10 seconds. So
okay.
are you up for that?
Okay, whatever.
Okay. Waltz or tango?
Whoa, tango.
Cake or pie?
Pie, like whipped cream. On top.
Pen or pencil?
Oh, pen. I use pens every day.
Comedy or drama?
Drama.
Coffee or latte?
Oh, coffee.
Excellent.
I'm easy.
Maureen,
I
thank you.
like tea better though.
Oh, you like tea? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you so much
This
for
is a
taking
fun.
your time out of your busy
Is
schedule
that
to
all
be with
right?
us. Oh, it's always great to talk to
Okay.
you, and thank you so
Okay,
much.
honey, great. And when I need
Okay.
some more flowers, I'll be sure to call you.
Okay, right on.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned business owner, or you simply just love to hear about what people are in business are doing, especially the great women in our Peterborough community, we're we're every week join in, see what we're talking about, and we always welcome you to our podcast.
Mm.
Next week's guest is going to be Nancy Wiskel, and she owns Dan Joyce Clothing, and we look forward to hearing her story about the clothing business and women in fashion. Maureen, thanks again for joining us. It was great to have you.
Thank you. I
I
hope I didn't shock
appreciate
anybody. I hope I didn't shock anybody. Anybody can call me anytime.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.